XOTIC Performance.
Hey truck people, welcome back. We're continuing our 6-liter build on the road to, I wouldn't say bulletproof, there's no such thing as a bulletproof engine, but this will get you pretty close. We're doing head studs today, and we're at the point where we're ready for assembly. This can be done in the vehicle. Is it going to be fun? No. Are you going to hate me for it? Yes. It can be done in the vehicle though. Only tip to it is to unbolt your transmission mount, jack the back of the transmission up, which will kick the back of the engine away from the firewall and get you enough clearance to get your head bolts out. Sometimes I've seen guys pull the heater box off the firewall. That can gain you a lot of access. That right side is really tight up against the heater box. That's up to you. Personally, I recommend either pulling the cab or removing the engine. A lot of guys also will install the studs and then set the head on. You cannot do that in the vehicle. You're going to have to set your head on and then throw your studs in one at a time, just like a head bolt. There's just not enough clearance once your studs are on to set your head on top of that. So, long story short, this 6-liter is out. That was fun. We've got everything cleaned up. You do not want to clean your deck surface or your head surface with a power tool of any nature. You just want to take your time, use a razor scraper, some Scotch-Brite by hand. Get it down to where you're comfortable with it. As long as it feels smooth and looks clean, you're good to go. Just take your time, use the thread chaser in your stud holes now, not bolt holes, stud holes. You can pick this up from XOTIC. It does a good job. It is not a tap, it is a chaser. It does have sharp edges. You can ruin your threads if you get carried away here. You do not use a power tool on this. Run this by hand. Oil it, WD-40, some kind of penetrating lubricant, motor oil, whatever you choose. Lubricate it in between each hole, blow it off with some compressed air, blow your holes out. Make sure these are clean, dry, good to go. You want to be able to thread this all the way down and all the way out by hand. If your first pass, you need to use a ratchet to get past some tight spots, that's fine, that's normal. That's why you do it, to get rid of that. So, that being said, we are ready for installation. Okay, so these are our parts. These are the 6-liter head stud kit. This is the inner row bolt kit. This is separate. You do have to purchase this separate, but a lot of companies don't make this, so it's kind of cool that XOTIC does. Everything comes shrink wrapped plastic. No worries about moisture getting in there during shipping, all that stuff. Let's open them up. Yeah, a nice little thank you packet. You got your air freshener. You got your registration warranty card. You want to register that online. Keep that. That's your lifetime warranty. Oh, a little baby sticker. And you know what those are. Got our instruction manual. Read it. Don't throw it away. Read it. We've got some lube. That's plenty. Trust me, you can do almost 2 sets of studs with this. So that's a lot for these little guys. Comes with the proper tool. It's a 12-point, 10mm, half-inch drive. These are not a high torque. 25 foot-pounds, I believe. Package nice. We got our washers and our bolts. Good looking stuff. Let's check out the head studs. Again, more lube. More instructions. Read these. Please read these. They've got your torque sequence and your torque specs. 23 foot-pounds on your inner row, not 25. Like I said, read your instructions, by golly. Let's see what else. Another little thank you pack. Same stuff. Warranty card, air freshener. I'm putting those in my truck. Trust me. We've got our flange nuts, our washers, and our head studs. Also comes with the proper 12-point socket. It's an 11/16 for the replacement nuts. Your OE head studs are an 18mm. Head bolts, I'm sorry. Your OE head bolts are an 18mm. Get those out, no big deal. Okay, so we're ready for installation. We've got our surfaces cleaned, our holes are chased, we've got our gasket in place. One quick note, depending on the year of your 6-liter, Ford put these out from 03 to 07 in the pickup trucks, and they went all the way to 09 in the E-Series vans. After 06 and a half, there is a 20mm dowel pin. This is an 05, this is an 18mm dowel pin. You need to verify which engine you have when you get your head gasket. Otherwise, it's not going to fit securely to the dowel pin. It's going to shift around on you. You don't want that. The easiest way to tell is based on your injector hold down. The 18mm dowel engines had a T40 hold down screw on the injector. 06 and a half to 09 was a 20mm dowel pin. They had a T45 Torx for the injector hold down. Most aftermarket heads, even the new heads from Ford, are now 20mm. They don't seem to make 18mm anymore. If you have an 18mm engine and you need to use 20mm heads, that's fine. Do a quick online search. They make an adapter dowel. It's 18mm on the block side, 20mm on the head side. Easy peasy, nothing to it. Our upper dowel, our upper inner row bolt, as it's known, one thing to watch, they have a chamfered washer. I don't know if you guys can see that. That helps distribute the load. You want the chamfer facing up away from the block. You want it to make contact with the head of the bolt. Now, like I said before, a lot of guys want to install the studs and then set the head on. That's a bad idea. Number one, if you're doing it in the vehicle, there's not enough clearance to get the head on past the cab, past the firewall. The more important thing is this is a monster head. Okay, we've got our rocker box still installed. This thing's big, it's heavy. The chances of you lining this up perfect and dropping it perfectly straight down are slim to none, especially if you're doing it in the vehicle. You're going to gouge a thread. You're going to pack those threads with steel or aluminum. You're going to damage it. It's going to ruin your project. Just simply set your head on the block. Use your inner row bolts to keep the head from falling off, and then install your studs. Pretty simple. Here we go. Bring this guy over. Boom, in place. Now, we're going to use just a little touch of our assembly lube. Don't need much here. I'm going to set those in place. These are not a very high torque, but just like your head bolts, the stock bolts will stretch. So if you're going to do it right, get the hole set. Get these guys going. We're going to run these down real quick and we'll come right back. Okay, so we've got our inner row bolts just run down by hand. They're not even hand tight. They're not even finger tight. They're just there until we're done with our Torx sequence for the main studs. Then we'll torque those as the last step of the sequence. They're just there to keep it from coming off. Just like any other stud, this is a coarse thread. This is the block side. This is a fine thread. This is the top side. So we're going to use just a dab. You don't need a lot of grease for the block side. Just a dab. And we're going to set that bad dog in there. We're going to run her down. You're going to want to snug it up. Make sure it's bottomed out. And then back it off 1/2 turn to keep, when you reach a certain point with your torque, the friction is going to load up on it and you're going to spin the stud. If you're already bottomed in the hole due to imperfect castings, what have you, you're going to drive that stud into the block, and there is a potential for some catastrophic damage in that instance. By backing it off a 1/2 turn, you put a tiny gap in there and you give it room to rotate in your torque sequence. A lot of people don't talk about it, but it's an important step. You definitely want to back it off. Some people go a 1/4 turn. I like a 1/2 turn. We're going to end up at 210 foot-pounds for our final spec. There's going to be a lot of load on this stud, and you don't want to drive that into the block at 210 foot-pounds. That's going to crack your block. You're going to have issues. It's going to be a bad day. So that being said, let's spin a few more studs in. Okay, so we got all our studs in. We're just going to verify that they're bottomed out and then back them off 1/2 turn. So that's bottomed out, 1/2 turn out. Bottomed out, 1/2 turn out. So we've got all our studs set and ready to go. Next thing you need to do is reinstall your rockers, your valve bridges, and your push rods. You just want to check, make sure that you have no debris inside your bridge, anything that's going to affect how it seats. Set that in, slide your push rod down. You'll feel it engage your lifter. Set your rocker arm on. And you just want to spin these down until they're finger tight. You don't want to tighten these yet, because if you do, this will backload it against the lifter and the valves, and you can actually cause the head to lift away from the gasket. So you want to make sure these are not tight until you get your studs tight. Then you come back and torque these. Okay, so we've got all our rocker arms and bridges and push rods back in. Our bolts are literally not even finger tight. They're just sitting there. Just want to make sure everything's lined up. Make sure you're engaging your push rods properly. Make sure your push rods are in your lifters. Following XOTIC's instructions, we're going to lubricate both sides of the washer. Drop that into place. And then we're going to lubricate the bottom side of the nut, the threads. And then we're going to give our stud a quick swipe as well. Again, you've got plenty of lubricant. Be liberal here. Make sure she's nice and slick. We'll get all these set up for you and we'll come back and do some torque. Okay, so we've got everything set up, ready for torque. Our sequence goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's very important that you do these steps properly, follow the instructions. A lot of guys just skip right to the final torque and just reef it down, and then 3 months, 6 months later they're having problems and they wonder why. It's pretty simple. You want to bring this down slowly. You've got a multiple layer gasket. There's, depending on your gasket, you've got 3 to 4 layers of steel. You've also got 2 components here. You've got your cylinder head and your rocker box cover. You're crushing all of that down to the block surface. You're crushing the gasket down to the block surface. I know some guys, they like to do the first step in the torque sequence and then they'll walk away for 24 hours. They just let everything kind of relax. That might be a little extreme. This isn't a top fuel dragster. Might be pretty close in my mind. But basically we're going to go 40 and then 150, and then our final step is 210. So in between those, for the sake of your shoulders, I do recommend a small break, maybe even a sandwich. I know I'm going to find a coffee, but let's go ahead and do the step 1 to 40 foot-pounds. I think we'll survive. Okay, we're set for 40 pounds. You want to make sure you're using a good torque wrench. You don't want the $20 deal from the local discount store. You want a good one. You want to calibrate it. Best way to do that, if you can, if you have access to one of the bigger name tool trucks, they can calibrate it for you, make sure it's reading properly. If you have a friend who has a torque wrench, you can do some playing around with, say, a lug nut on your tire, see if your torque wrenches match. There's a few different ways you can do it, but you want to make sure you're in the right ballpark. These are a 12-point. It's included in the set. You'll thank them for that when you get to the 210 step, when you're using a regular 6-point socket, especially if it's an older socket, got a little wear on it, that puppy skips off, you're going to be hating life. But let's see what happens here. This should be pretty simple. We're going to 40 foot-pounds. We're just going to bring it down nice and slow. She's crushing down. And as you're doing this, you're also loading up the rocker arms and the valves. So keep that in mind. Some of this stuff's going to move a little bit on you. Don't let that throw you. One smooth stroke. 40. Number 3. You can feel it bringing them rockers down. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Now again, this is step 1 of a 3-step process, so if you go a little over on these, that's okay. That's step 1. Okay, so we've reached our final torque of 210 foot-pounds. That was a lot of fun. I'm pretty proud of this little engine stand for holding together, I'll tell you that much. And if you can see this gap, you remember when we started, this bolt was finger tight. And that's what I'm talking about. You're loading up your valves when you torque this down. So you don't want to try to tighten this before you tighten this. Otherwise, it's going to lift the head when it pushes on the valve springs. So our last step is our inner roll bolts. We're going to do those to 25 foot-pounds. And I need a longer extension. Okay, so that's the fun of live TV, as they say. We're going to torque our inner row bolts to 25 foot-pounds, which is not much. We're going to start in the center and we work our way out. Once you get these done, you want to go through and torque your rocker arms to spec, which I believe are 25 foot-pounds as well. Again, working from the middle out. And now, get out there, tear up the streets, enjoy your truck.
XOTIC Performance. Built strong. Driven hard.